Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews and another reading vlog here on the channel. I'm Judith. Welcome if you haven't been here before. This is reading vlog number 22. I'm very excited to be here. I have a ridiculously overambitious TBR, so let's kick off with that. I did get a little bit of reading done over the weekend, but not very much because I was mostly working on a sewing project that is not ready to be seen yet, but it will be ready to be seen very shortly. Read another chunk or so of the Jasmine Throne. I'm on page 237 and it's absolutely fantastic. I'm really loving it so far. I'm a sucker for a sapphic story and also a revolution and complicated loyalties. I'm here for it. I'm very much, good stuff. Oh, and I also finished, I knew I was going to forget to talk about this, I finished The Seep. Is this the right way up? No. By Chaininteraction Porter. This is a weird book. I did it by audiobook, and so an alien invasion comes, but it's like the most chilled out alien invasion that's ever happened. Through the Seep, everything is connected, capitalism falls, hierarchies and barriers are broken down. If something can be imagined, it's possible. So everyone's living a really good life under the Seep, and then our main character, who is an older trans woman, her wife, is like, hello, I would like to become a baby again. And she's like, I don't know if I'm that cool with you becoming a baby. And she's like, it's okay, I can become a baby and you can be my parent. And she's like, I think we need to split up. And so the book is kind of about her working through that emotion and some other stuff going on. And I thought it was very, very good. And I would reread it and I would recommend it if you can get past the slight weirdness of the kind of start, I think, would be where I was at with this. So yes, I forgot I finished that, but I did finish that. So the plan for this week is to finish the Jasmine Throne, which I've started, and also finish these 5 things and possibly another 2 things before the end of the month, which is on Monday of next week. It's doable. Are we away for the whole of the weekend? So I kind of need to get it all done before Friday lunchtime. A little bit. I believe in myself. I'm going to try and do what I did last week because that worked really, really well, of having read a 5th of each book every day, because actually typically that then leads me to read a little bit more of some books and I finish them a little bit earlier than planned. At least that happened last week. I don't know if potentially trying to do it with 5 to 7 books will be as simple. So the ones that aren't represented here are Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho, which is the one that I think I'm probably going to save for the long weekend because I can take that up to my parents on my Kindle, and also Animorphs 22. If I don't get to Animorphs 22, I'm not going to beat myself up about it because I can read it next month, that's fine. So A Face Like Glass by Frances Hardinge. This is set in Caverna, which is like a big underground society, and our main character Neverfell, yes, basically is found in the tunnels of this artisanal cheesemaker because everyone in Caverna like makes things, slightly magical things like magical cheese, magical wine and so such. And Neverfell is different because everyone has like very blank faces. They have to learn the facial expressions that go with emotions, but Neverfell just does them automatically. And so far, she's ended up in the house of a very wealthy person, and everything is changing for Neverfell. So I'm very excited to read this. I have read this before, but as with most of the Frances Hardinge books on my list, I can't quite remember what happens. So that's an exciting adventure. The other book of similar ilk is The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge as well. This I can vaguely remember what happens, more so than Face Like Glass, but so far in this we have another young, plucky, wants to be a scientist main character. I love her, she's called Faith, and her family have been shipped off to Vane, but I've been calling it Varney, but that's just my fantasy brain. It's Vane, and everything's a bit spooky and gothic and cool, and I'm excited to read more of it. It's reminding me a lot of things like Turning Darkness into Light. We just have cool women who want to be scientists. I love it. I'm a sucker for it. Fall Wolf by Hannah Witten is coming out on the 17th of June, in fact, and I've made a little bit of progress on it. And I'll be honest, to this point, I'm on page 86, and to this point it's just uprooted with slightly different, like a few changes, not enough to make me go, this isn't similar to Uprooted so far. There's, you know, a couple of big differences, but broadly speaking, it's the same. Open mind, not going to say like this book is just uprooted, you know, plagiarism, blah, 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 because there's no way. And to this point it's just uprooted. I'll be interested to see if it does break away from that format. Viper and Venom. This is book 1, so this is the one I'm going to try and get to first, obviously, because I don't think I can read the first book and the sequel simultaneously. Even for me, that feels silly. This is pirate YA. I'm always here for some pirate YA. I don't remember a lot about this. I remember her father being horrible. Yeah, the most dangerous man on the ocean, and he is Marianne's father. There you go. A brave heroine, an impossible dilemma, an epic new fantasy trilogy set on the high seas. Yes, those are my plans for the week. Will I succeed? Will my next check-in be Friday morning where I've completely failed and I haven't wanted to vlog because I felt like a failure? Maybe. We'll find out. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, I forgot to vlog yesterday and I'm a little bit damp because I just come in from a run. So I'm also a little bit extra pink at the moment. But if I don't vlog now, I will totally forget. Many things to talk about. I finished 3 books, I have 1 bit of Bookmail, a whole bunch of other stuff to update you on. But let's start with the 3 things I have finished yesterday. I finished Viper by Bex Hogan. I think this is good fun. Not a huge fan of first-person narrative, so probably not the best judge of this. I know some people absolutely adore this series. I'm wondering if picking up the second one straight after, I'll like it a bit more. I find the main character a tiny bit grating, but again, that might be first-person narrative I find grating. Saving judgment until after book 2, which I will come to in a moment. I finished my reread of The Lie Tree by Frances Harding. This is really, really good. I'd forgotten how much murder mystery stuff happened in it. I'd forgotten the kind of like crafting of lies that happen within the story. I'd forgotten the reveal. I mean, basically the perfect scenario for a reread in that I'd forgotten everything. A fantastic main character. I talked about Faith a little bit in the previous vlog clip, I think. But yeah, I really like her energy and her sense of the wrongness that she's not allowed to do what she wants to do, which I appreciate. And also the way her attitude shifts towards her mother, I think that's very interesting as well. So yes, definitely would recommend. And then I also finished The Jasmine Throne, which is new to me and coming out in June. And this I think is absolutely fantastic. Another one that I think will probably be more, not necessarily better, but more when combined with book 2, which obviously isn't going to be out for a while. Just because I know this is being sold as like a sapphic, I don't know if it's actually written on the back, but like a sapphic story, which it is. It's not being missold, but the romantic aspect is quite strung out. I don't know if slow burn is the right word because I don't know those tropes well enough to say, but I wouldn't say go in this being like, what a romantic story, because it's more about 2 women doing stuff, which if anything, I kind of like more. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I liked the message. I liked how the magic developed. I thought that it was the kind of thing I really love to see on screen because there's aspects of it that I can picture in my head, but I'd love to see how other people interpret it. So yes, definitely would recommend. Excited for that to come out and for more people to read that. And then I am a ways through a couple of other things. 312 pages through A Face Like Glass, and this I'm really enjoying. And I'm quite glad that I'm taking it slow in this more chunking approach. Never Felt is another fantastic Frances Harding female main character. I just got that naivete, but also strength that I definitely appreciate in this kind of age group character. And I'm really enjoying her exploring this world that she's in where she is the outsider to that world, but she is also most similar to us as the reader, which is very interesting. So this whole world is very strange to us, but never felt as strange to that world. Yeah, it's interesting. There's interesting stuff going on, and also it talks about cheese a lot, which I'm here for. For the Wolf, speaking of nothing else, I am 178 pages through. This is the thing I need to catch up on. And had I basically said before, I think what I'd said was it's uprooted but slightly different. It's getting more different. I wouldn't say super different. It just feels a little bit slow at this point, which I think was something Asher had mentioned when she'd read it. I don't know if she has a review up. I'll link it if she does, just for another perspective. The threat level isn't such that there's like action, but the contemplative learning stuff isn't interesting enough that I'm interested in that. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm going to love this, but I wonder if it's going to be one of those books where I'm annoyed at it and then the last 50 pages or so are great. But we'll find out. I don't know. I have yet to start Venom because I've only just finished Viper, and I haven't started Animorphs yet, and Blackwater Sister, like, I read a couple of chapters, but I'll probably start it again at the weekend. I might finish this vlog a bit early, not today, but finish this vlog Friday morning, just because we're going to see my parents because we can now. We're going up to see them for the weekend. We shall see. You'll get the vlog at some point. This clip will exist with terrible lighting and me looking very pink in the face. It'll be in there. I think this vlog's been pretty dark. I apologise. I'm trying to use natural light more. Things to talk about. I forgot to talk about Bookmail yesterday, so let's do that first because that seems like a good decision. I have 2 things to share with you, one of which is Master of Gin, which I'm very excited for. This is for the UK release. Obviously, if you're in the US, this is already out. You may have already read this. This is coming out from Orbit in the UK rather than Tor. And I've already read this. I really loved it. I'm going to read it again because I can. Yeah, I think, yes, I do in fact already have a review up for this, so you can go and watch that if you're curious as to my thoughts. I also have, what's this called? Vampires Never Get Old, Tales with Fresh Bite, which is a collection of vampire short stories. 11 fresh vampire stories from young adult fiction's leading voices. I'm excited for most of the people on this list. There are a couple that I'm a bit like, you know, I'm excited to read it. Get some good vampires. I think this will actually probably go onto my book a day in June TBR, which has just gone up, by the way, so if you haven't watched that yet, hit that up. Yeah, this came out yesterday, so I'm not in a hurry with that one. I finished For the Wolf, which was not great. If you have already read Uprooted, don't bother reading this. Uprooted is better, and you will just find yourself doing what I did, going, but I could read Uprooted and get better everything out of this. If you haven't already read Uprooted and you're picking this up and you're like, oh, this is not great, then read Uprooted because it's like this but way better. I just found it kind of boring. I didn't really buy the romance. It all happened a little bit quick for me and perhaps a little bit intensely, but not just, there wasn't really any tension, and I feel like there needed to be. So it all just kind of fell a little bit flat for me. I don't think I'll be reading the sequel. I'm probably not going to hang on to this, but if you've read this and you loved it, let me know why. I won't judge you, I promise. Everyone's allowed to like different things. I have not yet finished A Face Like Glass. I have probably about 100 pages after that, maybe less, so I've got a little bit left of that to go, but not very much. Rereading this has been a joyous experience. It's such a good book. It's so freaking weird, but it's so good. One of the things that struck me was actually the main reveal I remembered, and that made that less impactful. Obviously, that's a given. All of the other like sub reveals have been really interesting, and there's loads that I'd forgotten because this is just I nearly said unbearably detailed world, but I mean that in like a wonderful, good, hyperbolic sense. I'm excited to finish this. I really recommend it. It's one of my favourites of hers. Every time I read one, I'm like, oh, this is one of my favourites, because I like them all. And I haven't started Venom yet, and I haven't read anything else. I've slowed down a little bit, but I'm still going. I'm going to try and finish Face Like Glass this afternoon, and I will get back to you tomorrow morning to close this out and let you know how the rest of everything went. Hello, happy Friday and last day of the vlog, this slightly shortened reading vlog. I have some updates that I'm going to do very quickly because I have a lot of packing and stuff I need to get done today, including packing up my camera. I am halfway through, yes, I think I'm pretty much bang on halfway through Venom. I always want to call it Viper, the names all get muddled in my head. I'm liking this more than I liked the first one, which is good. I think for me, the problem at this point is there are too many things going on, and I think that if you took one of them out, the book would be way too short, but also maybe you could develop some of the other ideas going on. An arranged marriage, but she's also has feelings for somebody else. There's some other spoilery things that I can't get into, but there's like a secret identity involved. There's the pirate plot, there's the conspiracy, there's the, you know what I mean? There's the 12 islands and how they all work, and each island has a different theme, and it's just a bit much for me, and I don't think anything is being explored in enough detail because of the first person perspective. And I think if this were multiple perspectives or a broader look at the world, I think it would be better. But because it's just through this one character's eyes and she has so much going on top of all of the other things that are going on, it's just a bit like, oh, okay, there's a lot happening here. I'm not crazy about the series, but I am not enjoying it. I think it's just a bit of fun. Other than that, I have not read anything else, but I will tell you what I'm taking to my parents, and that is my Kindle. I'm going to try and do Blackwater Sister, and if I finish that, then I'm going to make a start on She Who Became the Sun. If I've got oodles and oodles of time to read over the next 3 days, make a start on some of the stuff for Book a Day in June. That is like the one sub-rule I have brought in. I think I brought it in last year, actually, because I had Eldest, I think, was on that, something ludicrous. It is okay to read halfway, up to halfway the previous month, and it still counts, especially if it's a long book. So that's what I'm going to do there. So hopefully that will be good. I hope you've enjoyed this week. It's been a very good reading week for me. I'm very chuffed with how this all went. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been interesting, inspirational, educational, all of those silly words. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated, and it pushes me ever closer to that fabled 1,000 subscriber mark. You can also follow me on all of my social media. That's all linked below. Come join me on Discord. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. There's gonna be some bloopers now. I'm sorry, we're getting the usual evening lighting change. You'll just have to live with it. That'll do. And I'm a little bit damp because I've just come in. Ooh, that's gonna hit the mic. Very great. Give me the pub date.